Hello, my name is Amelia Huff, and thank you for coming to my benchmark presentation on organizational design, structure, and change. The company that I chose for this presentation is Boeing. I worked in a titanium casting aerospace manufacturer who made many small pieces on a number of Boeing aircrafts. While we rarely did business with Boeing directly, a lot of our customers sold their products to Boeing. At one point before the pandemic, roughly 40% of our products were Boeing end use. While many companies faced uncharted territory during the peak of the pandemic, Boeing had a number of challenges hit them from various directions starting before 2020. Looking at Fortune's most admired list and the 8 categories that companies are judged off of, Boeing has a few that they were underperforming on for a long stretch of time. I could focus on their quality of management, their social responsibility to the community, people management, or financial soundness, as all of these categories have shown less than stellar performances, specifically in the last 6 years. However, the category that I choose to focus on for this presentation is their quality of products and services, and how their performance has fallen short. Ultimately, I believe that all of the other categories that I mentioned falling short were because of their lack of quality in products. During this presentation, I will go over Boeing's history, what they are currently facing because of their shortcomings, and the likely consequences they will face if they continue to produce poor quality products in their industry. I will also dive into Boeing's current structure, design, and culture that they are currently operating with, and whether they currently embody a conscious culture. I will go over a suggested plan for improvements and how to function properly moving forward, as well as any possible challenges that may arise while implementing this plan. Finally, I will be going over the lessons that we need to learn and the strategies we will implement in order for this plan to be successful and to see measurable growth within the organization over the next few years. So how did Boeing get here? Boeing had a series of events that led to their customers and the general public questioning their quality of products and services. In October of 2018, one of Boeing's 737 MAX airplanes crashed mid-flight, killing everyone on board. Then again, in March of 2019, a second 737 MAX crashed, killing everyone on board as well. This triggered aviation authorities around the world to ground all 737 MAX jets. In December of 2019, Boeing fired its CEO due to the significant financial loss and the lack of trust in leadership circling the 737 MAX circumstances. In March of 2020, the global pandemic forced airlines to significantly reduce flying schedules. The U.S. air travel would be down 96% compared to the previous year. Because of the force majeure clause in many purchasing contracts, as well as the prolonged groundings of the 737 MAX, airlines were able to cancel contracts with Boeing without any significant penalties. This compounded Boeing's financial loss more so than their competitors at the time, forcing Boeing to lay off over 7,000 employees. In April of 2023, Boeing announced that their supplier, Spirit AeroSystems, was using a non-standard manufacturing process, delaying the 737 MAX delivery schedule even further as they investigated this issue. In January of 2024, a door flew off of a 737 MAX mid-flight. The investigation later confirmed that the aircraft was delivered with 4 necessary bolts missing on the door, ultimately causing the incident. The FAA launched a 6-week audit on Boeing, uncovering more concerning major quality and safety issues. In March of 2024, Boeing announced its current CEO would leave the company at the end of the year. In July of 2024, Boeing announced its plan to purchase supplier Spirit AeroSystems in hopes of keeping quality and safety improvements controlled in-house. 2025 has shown positive change in leadership and financial trends, with the purchase of Spirit AeroSystems finalizing just this week. Time will tell if all of these changes will improve the quality and safety of Boeing's products and bring the community's faith back, but Boeing has a long road ahead of them and get back to their numbers before the 737 MAX issue arose. Boeing is facing scrutiny from all directions and is feeling the pressure of producing products that do not meet quality and safety standards. They have had 3 CEOs in the last 6 years. They have reported a $31.5 billion loss related to the 737 MAX issues through 2023, with another $11.8 billion loss in 2024. The FAA has launched a 6-week on-site audit of the company, scrutinizing all details, as well as court hearings and fines. On top of all of this, and perhaps the biggest hurdle that Boeing will have to overcome, is how to win back the faith of their customers and the general public, convincing them that their quality and safety practices are, at the bare minimum, at least meeting industry standards from this point forward. What are the likely consequences if there's failure to improve? The consequences have already reached very harsh levels, with the FAA audits, the fines, imprisonments, and government bailouts that have already happened. If significant improvements are not beginning to be made, we will see a harsher FAA regulation and takeovers within the company, more grounded flights, and a significant impact on flight schedules around the world if Boeing continues to underdeliver on promised schedules that they have been failing to provide since 2019. The concern that arises as this issue takes longer to be resolved is that airline fleets currently in service are being pushed to their max quality allowances to accommodate for the amount of consumers flying versus the delay in deliveries from Boeing. This whole situation cannot be resolved quickly, and it has to be solved correctly. It will cause a whole storm of safety issues across the board if it is not done so. Boeing's structure, design, and culture deserves a dive into their past and how they got to this point. Boeing was founded in 1916 and started small. Its wild success was credited to Thornton Wilson, who worked his way up in the company from 1943 to 1986. During this time, Boeing's culture was a family atmosphere where employees formed deep bonds, and it was not unlikely for individuals to work their entire career within Boeing. Former employees even fondly recall a deep commitment to quality engineering and a pride in their work. In 1996, Boeing purchased longtime rivals McDonnell Douglas, which changed the structure of the company significantly. Senior management was moved from Washington to Chicago, and many employees lamented the fact that where Wilson knew many of the employees by name and met with them face-to-face on a regular basis, the management team was now living 2,000 miles away in Chicago. The reporting structure changed so that top engineers reported first to business leaders in each division and second to their chief engineer. John Newhouse says that Boeing's critics complain about a heavy presence of inexperienced business school types and too little listening to the airline market. In 2003, Boeing's largest rival, Airbus, outdelivered Boeing. This was a monumental achievement and the first time in history that Boeing's competitors outdelivered Boeing. This created a sense of urgency and willingness to cut corners in order to streamline deliverables within Boeing. Current day, the family culture is gone. The easily accessible structure that Wilson had implemented, driving them to unheard of success, is also gone. Design and function of how processes are followed are time-consuming and confusing at best. One hourly employee even talked about raising quality concerns in 2012. She was refusing to put hundreds of unacceptable parts on a plane. Instead of fixing the issue immediately, she said it took months to resolve, and she was not even aware of what the resolution was because she was transferred out of the warehouse before the resolution happened. Prior to the structure change, she said that this would have been taken care of within weeks at most. Overall, Boeing was built on a solid design, had a structure that was easily accessible where people felt valued and carried pride in their work, and the culture was what most businesses strive for. In a series of events and changes along the way, Boeing has lost what once made it special, and with it lost sight of what made them successful to begin with. Up until now, Boeing has been known for focusing on the bottom line, something that its stakeholders were not complaining about until it started interfering with safety and quality. In the video Rockstar Leadership, there are 3 things that create a brilliant leader who can influence a conscious culture within a company. First, they need a fantastic track record of driving results and getting change. Second, the management team has bought into the safety and quality vision wholeheartedly. And finally, they are engaging in a compelling way that drives others to quality and safety in all activities they are doing on a daily basis. My suggested plan for improvement is to implement Dr. Cotter's 8-step process for leading change. Boeing has already created a sense of urgency, if by force from outsiders like the FAA alone, within its company. Boeing is actively working on building a guiding coalition, starting from the top up by hiring a new CEO, Kelly Ortberg. Kelly's biggest asset will be creating a team around him who will understand the severity and the urgency of the situation and act with quality and safety at the forefront of all decisions made. Boeing's strategic vision moving forward has to be safety and quality first. Everything else comes second. Kelly and his team have to emphasize safety and quality in every employee they hire, with the goal of every employee understanding the importance of their job and how their job specifically contributes to the product's quality. Boeing has gotten into the situation from removing barriers in places that shouldn't have, as well as putting up barriers in situations that shouldn't have. Therefore, moving forward, Boeing must analyze action through the looking glass of, does this help us produce quality products? Boeing has had a long string of losses, so they need to focus on short-term wins, including purchasing Spirit Aerosystems and bringing quality standards back in-house. Once Boeing has gained traction with a series of short-term wins, they need to slowly and carefully increase the pace in which to hit demands. Unfortunately, this series of events took years to create, so instituting change will take years to happen. Boeing is going to have to essentially start from the ground up, and it's going to take a long time to get it right and be sustainable moving forward. Possible challenges that may arise. Boeing has continued to let key leaders go in recent years, and I'm sure cleaning house will need to continue to happen as they redefine their culture moving forward. Every time a key leader leaves, there is a disruption, but I would argue that this challenge and disruption is needed if they want to see genuine change. Boeing may also find more safety concerns as they continue to uncover and change their processes to align with their quality guidelines moving forward. My suggestion is to continue to own up to these shortcomings and take immediate action rather than wait for the FAA to dictate what needs to be done. It has become clear that Boeing's speculations to their suppliers have been relaxed in past years. Since Boeing cannot purchase every supplier to fall under their quality standards, a mass realignment is needed across the board. This realignment will redefine Boeing's quality and safety standards going forward, as well as laying out a more detailed plan of what is expected from their suppliers. Boeing has taught me that going solely after the bottom line is not a way to build a sustainable company. This has also taught me that years of improper management cannot be fixed in weeks or months, but years. I have also gained the perspective of just how big a company's reach can be, and my action affects so much more than just me and my team. Becoming a rockstar leader by driving results, buying into the company's vision, and engaging with my team in compelling ways is something that I plan on implementing personally in my career moving forward. The study on Boeing has given me a lot of examples of what not to do, but I am hopeful that they will get rockstar leadership in the company, that they will begin to see some real change. So in conclusion, my hope is that you have had a thorough understanding of how Boeing has gotten to the place of producing products below public's acceptable standards, and what the current ramifications are that they have been facing. I have explained the path that I believe they are headed down if they do not make any changes, as well as the consequences if no changes are made. You should have a better understanding of Boeing's current structure, design, and culture, as well as practical ways I have suggested to improve function and gain a better conscious culture moving forward. Finally, I hope you now understand the plan in which I would implement to improve their circumstances and the potential challenges that they will face, as well as lessons that we can learn along the way. If you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email or through the Halo. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation on Boeing's design, structure, and needed change.